Hello and welcome to another analysis behind the news. A number of weeks ago we mentioned that conservatives have always been weak on organization and that the left has phenomenal organization. They don't have an off season, they don't sit back and watch anything happen, they make it happen. So with the Trump administration moving ahead with its agenda, the other side is not content with just watching, obviously. They are making things happen. We reported on the New York Post's coverage of President Obama organizing sympathetic government workers from his last administration that are still in service in the Trump administration. Not to mention all those heartbroken liberals who would jump at the chance to either stop Trump's agenda or protect Obama's legacy. The New York Post has a follow-up article reporting that the group, Organizing for Action, distributed a training manual that advises activists who bully GOP lawmakers at town hall meetings, at their local offices, and at other public events. And this is why you saw such disruption about a week and a half ago at GOP lawmakers' town halls. The Post writes, the protesters disrupted town halls earlier this month, including one held in Utah by House Oversight Committee Chairman Jason Chaffetz, who was confronted by hundreds of angry demonstrators claiming to be his constituents. The manual, published with OFA partner Indivisible, advises protesters to go into halls quietly so as not to raise alarms and grab seats at the front of the room, but do not all sit together. Rather, spread out in pairs to make it seem like the whole room opposes the Republican host's positions. This will help reinforce the impression of broad consensus. It also urges them to ask hostile questions while keeping a firm hold on the mic and loudly boo the GOP politician if he isn't giving you real answers. Express your concern to the event's hosts that they are giving a platform to pro-Trump authoritarianism, racism, and corruption, it says. The goal is to make Republicans, even from safe districts, second-guess their support for the Trump agenda and to prime the ground for the 2018 midterms when Democrats retake power. Now, this isn't the first time that Organizing for Action has caused disruption to embolden their agenda. In August of 2013, the New American magazine reported that the newly formed OFA went on a witch hunt to get rid of government employees who question the supposed accepted science of climate change. They also viciously targeted lawmakers who expressed skepticism about UN climate dogma with extreme labels like dangerous, radical, and climate denier. So, they are in the bullying business. In November of 2015, the New York Post wrote this about Organizing for Action. Barack Obama's presidency has been pockmarked by rioting, looting, and protest. That's no coincidence. It's what the former community organizers sought from day one. And it's just going to get worse before he leaves office. The senseless protests we're seeing break out on the campuses of the University of Missouri, Yale, and other colleges, as well as on bridges and highway overpasses and outside police stations, are precisely the kind of thing Obama was trained to organize while attending leftist agitation schools founded by Chicago communist Saul Alinsky. He learned to a fare thee well how to rub raw the sores of discontent. Now, Obama is returning the favor of his Alinsky masters, training and cloning an army of social justice bullies to carry on his revolution to fundamentally transform America. He's doing it mainly through a little-known but well-funded group called Organizing for Action, or OFA, which will outlast his administration. And we're seeing that today, aren't we? OFA, formerly Obama for America, has trained more than 10,000 leftist organizers who, in turn, are training more than 2 million youths in Alinsky street tactics. The leftist group, which recently registered as a 501c4 nonprofit eligible for unlimited contributions, holds regular organizing summits on college campuses. Again, this is from 2015. Through social media, they mobilize flash mobs against biased cops, climate change deniers, Wall Street predators, and gun extremists. They hold rallies against conservative foes of gay marriage, LGBT rights, abortion, and amnesty for illegal immigrants. In addition, Obama has trained hundreds of thousands of junior agitators through AmeriCorps, a Clinton youth program he's dramatically expanded, and through My Brother's Keeper, the racial justice initiative he launched in the wake of the 2012 death of Florida teen Trayvon Martin. And it continues further in. All three of these federally sponsored projects have crossover with the Black Lives Matter and Occupy Wall Street movements, both of which Obama embraces. They share manpower and resources as well as radical agendas while coordinating activities with nonprofit Acorn clones who are being secretly bankrolled through Justice Department subprime settlement funds extracted from banks. Keep that in mind. In a Fox News online article from last week titled, GOP wants to eliminate shadowy DOJ slush fund bankrolling leftist groups, it says the Obama administration funneled billions of dollars, with a B, to activist organizations through a Department of Justice slush fund scheme, according to congressional investigators. Findings spearheaded by the House Judiciary Committee point to a process shrouded in secrecy whereby monies were distributed to a labyrinth of nonprofit organizations involved with grassroots activism. Activists for big government and progressive power are using the Justice Department to extort money from corporations. Judicial Watch's Tom Fitton told Fox News, "It's a shakedown. It's corrupt, pure and simple," he said. There is a recent effort by Republicans to eliminate the practice, which many believe was widely abused during the Obama administration. When big banks are sued by the government for discrimination or mortgage abuse, they can settle the cases by, get this, donating to third-party non-victims. The settlements do not specify how these third-party groups could use the windfall. So far, investigators have accounted for $3 billion paid to non-victim entities. Critics say banks are incentivized to donate the funds to nonprofits rather than giving it to consumers. And it concludes, as lawmakers face protests in their home districts, the issue of shadow subsidies underscores the foggy nature of taxpayer dollars used in partisan politics. The protests are as organic as a plastic cup, says Fitton. There is a massive left-wing infrastructure in place trying to protect the monstrous government created by the Obama administration. So, we have demonstrated that there is indeed organization behind the violent protests that have formed during the 8 years of Obama administration, as bankrolled by leftist billionaire George Soros and others. We see leftist organizing groups also being bankrolled by sleazy schemes through the Obama administration's Department of Justice to the tune of billions of dollars. Don't you think that this provides a pretty good incentive for them to protect their turf? So, should we be surprised when allegations come to light that the Obama administration is now accused of spying on their opposition? It seems this practice would be commonplace for those incentivized to protect their deep funding. Also, WorldNet Daily reports that former Attorney General Loretta Lynch has made an impassioned plea for progressive supporters to get into the streets where they can expect blood and even death. This video was posted onto the Senate Democrats' Facebook page where they deemed her plea as words of inspiration. In the 1960s and 1970s, street violence was commonplace as protesters converged on a number of items inflamed by racial tensions as pushed by agitators. Back then, it was the Students for Democratic Society, or SDS, and the Black Panthers that were instigating violence. While groups like these were relatively small, they made a big impact. Today's agitator network is much bigger and more influential, and Lynch's words of inspiration will only see people hurt as violence escalates. And the only ones getting hurt will be the ones in the streets and the local communities who are the unfortunate hosts to these intolerant bullies. You see, folks, it's not about rights. It's not about justice. It's about creating crises that result in an escalation of street violence, which then gives the federal government an excuse to intervene with more agencies, more programs, and more laws that siphon away liberty from citizens. This is exactly what big government advocates want. They play right into the hands of the shadowy cabal that continues to fund, direct, and use these protesters as cannon fodder for the socialist agenda of moving America from an independent nation of producers to a dependent population of subservience to world government planners. So what does Trump have to lose? It's time for him to go on the offensive. Expose those organizers, investigate and prosecute where necessary. Send a message that the American Republic must be restored and that no amount of subversion from globalists will be tolerated. And because the left doesn't have an off-season, neither should conservatives. If you're ready to get involved, then it may be time to join the John Birch Society. Go to jbs.org for more information. And be sure to like and share this video with family and friends. Sign up for our e-newsletters and subscribe to our social media channels. Until next time, we'll see you then.